So my topic for today, I'm so happy actually the weather is fair. And I'm marking my 42nd year in this business. So late 70s when I was young is when I started to get engaged because of my fashion love, and that brought the encounter of denim to me. National brands, there were a lot of them back at that time, but compared to now, the brands of denim were not as high as quality as today. So we were actually, back at that time when we were younger, we were wearing secondhand denims. 60s Levi's 501. Those were our key inspirations. And for my generation, I think they all shared that same passion to be inspired by vintage denim or secondhand denim. So the old Levi's is what we wore. And there were big trends of like designers fashion at that time, and we will mix match to create our styles with denim and like designers fashion, high-end fashion mixed with cheaper denims, and that was our style. And I started working in 1982, but at that time the popularity of denim, like the second-hand 501 Levi's, which I could buy at like $80 at a thrift shop, where the prices had skyrocketed and they were completely inaccessible. So when I joined the company, it was a business of ladies, women jeans mainly. And so Adriana's brand, the company would carry, and also Francois Gilbeau. So they were all European denim brands, not American. So they were designed jeans, Pedalpshar. So those were the like new movements that came into the fashion world that inspired us a lot and inspired me as a designer. So the title of the talk session here is actually the name of this show here is Denim and Jeans. And for me, actually, denims and jeans are two different things. Denims are for me, is the 5-pocket pants. That's what denim means. And denim is an item that uses, jeans is the items that use denim. So we have different businesses that we work together with. And I actually created a lot of fabrics with different makers. And there were major mills in Japan, but we did not have direct relationships with them. So we had to buy through agents and converters. But the agents did listen to us, to our requests. So in that way, we procured denim from different mills. So we had this kind of established supply chain or system. So even small brands had access and availability to explore creating new denim. So I think we were lucky. We had a very good environment. So we were really creative in creating new styles and designing new clothes. And we had exposure to many international like colleagues, like other designers. And later in the 90s, Ralph Lauren's Double RL, that brand, I was actually engaged. I was designing for them. And when I was working for that brand, Ralph Lauren himself said that men's clothes look the most coolest when they really demonstrate and express the work of the people, of the guy. Because everything in the background of that person should be revealed and expressed in the style that he wears. So for example, the fading of jeans is a sign. So it's not like a one-way, like designers showing what they think is good. It's more like supporting the people to express themselves. Yes, Double RL, the Ralph Lauren's vintage line. When it started, I think it was around year 2000. And the first production was actually made in Japan. So myself and Kato-san worked together. We went to travel to New York many times from Japan. And I remember how we launched the brand together. We produced for the brand together. The washing became really complicated. And in 5 years, so we had to have like washing discussions, but it was really difficult to continue that process across the Pacific Ocean. So the production site actually relocated to the States, but still the materials are supplied from Japan. So that's already 20 years ago. And at the same time, we were working for Ralph Lauren, but we were also working for European brands, like we were working for Adriano. So it was really great that we built a lot of networks and we learned from those opportunities. So we really wanted to return back to what we received from them in Japan. Krabu's denim export, we did to plan and support, and also we did the finishing, the washing. We made samples, and I was engaged in that kind of effort as well. So after Krabu, Italy's Italian regular, that brand, I worked as a consultant. And I created many different types of denims. But because I had only done work in Japan, like overseas factories was a completely new world to me. So I was nervous at the beginning, but I learned how interesting it is through my experience. There was nothing really new or different, but each country has like different type of outcome in what they create. There's like local uniqueness for each area. And regular had a lot of different denim lines. And many of you here we have from India today. So Al Window in India, I worked with. I had to sign a contract with them. Indian denim was of course good quality, but wasn't deserving the right reputation. The prices were cheaper, so we tried to like market the price at around $5. And Adriano really endorsed our efforts, so we were really successful making a good collection. It was a lot of work, and we had language barriers, but not only language, how to communicate our senses was something like the nuances was a big challenge. But when we really got into it, we learned that like denim doesn't need language. We know what we do. It's just about like the creative senses and the styles, like how to communicate that was the biggest, because you can explain the process, but how you can communicate the subtle nuances, that was the biggest challenge. But I was so happy that we were successful making a good collection. And now the production is really stable. And Honzawa-san's section over there is exhibiting the All Windows selvage. So please take a look. And that reminds me, selvage. When I was young, I was wearing the 501 of Levi's selvage. And Japanese major denim brands also, I worked with them to create the similar. But the biggest challenge was the shuttle woven vintage denim reproduction. And everybody got so obsessed with that. But when I was younger, I used to shop those. So I knew those items like in person. That was the real denim. That was the only denim for me. But others had to learn, had to research and understand to create a vintage-ish reproduction. But everybody was so obsessed with that. And once brands started to sell those vintage-ish products, in Japan, there was a big boom of American casual, amekaji. And the trend lasted actually for about 10 years. So jeans, pants, and the American trad, like teenagers are now in their 50s, around 50s. So my friends today are creating really good authentic jeans, but the main target demographic buyers are like those in their 50s, around 50s. So we are creating what we were wearing when we were young, and the younger buyers, like consumers, are purchasing this stuff. But now that was what we saw until in the 90s, but in the 2000s. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like different generation groups or age groups and generations have different preferences and trends. So if you have a really good 5-pocket pants, that's all you need. And you wear it out and then you buy the same thing again. So you become a repeated consumer to repeatedly purchase the same 5-pocket from the same brand. But there are not so many brands that sell the same 5-pockets, because every season they launch like different collections. But denim should be agnostic of like the seasons or the trends, always offering the standard same item. That's how they should be, because that's why jeans is so unique and special in the fashion industry, I believe. So the buyers, the consumers, and even the brands, I want people to understand the value in what I said right now, because in that way we can still have like really good denim brands, because there is always a potential demand of like buyers or consumers to come back to repeat and buy the same thing again, rather than trying to reinvent collections every season. If it's one like 14-ounce or 1 or 2 pairs of a good 5-pocket, that's enough. If people understand that, there is value there, and the brands also should be confident in demonstrating that value. And we talked about the younger generation, so I want to add a comment. I don't see young people wearing jeans so much compared to when we were younger. So the denim as a material, 14-ounce, 14-ounce 5-pockets, not only material for those, but light ounce like what I'm wearing today. So there are many brands that are creating like different designs based on different materials, but that gives less exposure to like real denim to young generations. So apparel designers themselves who are working for fashion companies have really limited experience to be exposed or access like denim, like authentic denim. So these shows are really rare and special and very useful, because those opportunities could be inspiration for them, to the younger designers, to create like different collections and create a new trend.